look at the power brick, man. It says it's 100 watts. You think I can charge my MacBook with it? Maybe I can. Hello everyone, welcome back to Pixel Village and I am Radha Krishnan. Welcome back to yet another Shoot Like a Pro video after a long break. Oh, did we have a long break? No, not really. Maybe we did a Vivo video very recently and it was received pretty well. Okay, so last week we got an opportunity to work very closely with Oppo during the launch of their all-new Oppo Reno 10 Pro Plus, and we did a couple of reels, which, if I have to go by the internet, well, was received pretty well. Since we have a short window before this phone goes back to the brand, we thought we will create a small video on the most interesting aspect of this phone, which is the camera. Well, we at Pixel Village, through our series called the Shoot Like a Pro, we talk only about the photography capability, the camera capability of the mobile phone. And this one is very special because the reel that we did was talking about the portrait taking capability of this phone. Very different from all the other phones that we have worked with, including the earlier Oppos. This one actually pushes the phone into a premium category. Premium category in terms of price and features. While we are currently not in a position, or we don't have the expertise to talk the tech aspect of the phone, like processor and all the other capabilities, we'll talk about what we know best, which is camera. Now, this phone has three sensors. It's got a wide-angle sensor, which is about 8 megapixel, which is right on top. The one in the middle is a 50 megapixel tried and tested Sony sensor, which is the IMX890. This one here is the 64 megapixel, again tried and tested OmniVision sensor. Now it is attached to a periscope lens, which means you can actually zoom better optically. Typically, majority of people, out of sheer ignorance of how a camera in a mobile phone works, tend to pinch and zoom if they have to zoom in or go closer to a subject. But in the case of the Oppo Reno 10 Pro Plus, you don't have to pinch and zoom. You can pinch and zoom, but you have, well, many different cameras also have this feature, like straight away going to a 1x, 2x or a 3x magnification. What happens is, because of this periscope lens, you will not lose your image quality. Most of the time in many phones, even if you use the preset magnification factors, the 1, 2, 6 or whatever the phone company decides to give you, the magnification is done digitally. Whereas in this case, the camera uses the 64 megapixel sensor, uses a periscope lens construction and optically zooms into the subject. The net result is you will not lose the image quality. Of course, remember the drill. Refer to our Shoot Like a Pro 1, which is one of the largest watched mobile phone videos probably on internet. Make sure that you clean the lens, activate the 3x3 grid, and then you're ready to use. Make sure you hold the phone with both the hands and use the other hand to trigger, or you can use it like this as well. Now, coming back to the camera, the most interesting thing about Oppo is using their own neural processing engine, which is called Mari Silicon. They developed it, I think, somewhere around 2021. Ever since, it's a part of most of their high-end phones. I'm sure by now you all know that a neural processing unit is a different chipset, which is different from, let's say, the cameras on processor made by MediaTek or Qualcomm. the Dimensity or the Snapdragon, which is different from that. And the NPU, the neural processing unit, takes care of the images and the videos, thereby adding a lot of features to your camera. Now, MariSilicon is developed, like I said, by Oppo and is one of the finest that you can find in mobile phones. Now, in this case, what it does is, in portrait mode, it gives you an opportunity to control your aperture. Now, technically, there are no apertures in the camera, right? So, aperture, a wider aperture would mean shallow depth of field, and a higher aperture count or a number, an f-stop, means very deep depth of field. Now, since there are no physical apertures present in the phone, the camera makes use of the AI features and it gives you the effect of a shallow depth of field. Now, that feature has been almost perfected in this camera. So when we shoot with this camera, we rarely find a garbage mask. Garbage mask is basically a very visible mask between the subject and the backdrop. So you can, if you use, like a magnifier or do pixel peeping, you will still find one, but it is improved immensely. It's very easy to do, very intuitive. So don't settle for the default setting. If you want a little stronger bokeh, it's called bokeh technically in photography language. It's not blurred background, it's bokeh. And if you want that, go to the aperture, click on the aperture emblem and slide that scale to reach the smallest number. Correct? In this case, it's 1.4, and shoot, and you will get a nice, interesting blurred background. And these are the images that we shot during our Reels session. This is one caution that I want to kind of give you, which is when you shoot in standard photo or standard portrait mode, what camera will do is that camera will actually bin 4 pixels together and give you a smaller or a lower resolution image compared to the camera's capability, which is the main camera is 50 megapixel and the telephoto is 64 megapixel. Now, there's something that I want to tell you at this point. You paid big money for a phone like this. Probably one of the most expensive Oppo phones currently available. This is now fighting with probably the likes of the OnePlus and Google, and it's gone to that kind of a price bracket. So you will expect much more and you will want more out of your phone. If you want to get the full benefit of the phone, then you'll have to shoot at the high resolution mode, which is on the right hand side top corner, the second from right feature. It will then show you that you're shooting at higher resolution, 50 megapixel. And if you switch to the telephoto mode, which is the 3x mode, you will see a 64 megapixel symbol. Now, there are 2 catches there. One, you will not be able to do any brightness control or physically control the brightness or lock focus. It will just focus on the first subject in front, and it will not also allow you to do the background defocus or the depth control. But you will get extremely high resolution like the 50 and the 64 megapixel camera. Now this is brilliant option if you're shooting landscapes. Okay, this is the best option for when you shoot automobiles, interiors, anything that requires a very high resolution response. Then you should activate it and get full resolution in your image. In the other case, if you just activate your portrait or photo mode with the high resolution deactivated, basically you will see a cross on top. Well, then your images will be a pixel binned image of 12 megapixels or slightly higher, probably 16 or 18 megapixel image is what you will get, which is perfectly okay. I don't think anything more than is actually required. Okay, 12 megapixel is perfect for most use cases. Even if you want to print, a 12 megapixel is good enough. Forget a mobile phone, 12 megapixel according to me is a perfect optimal resolution even for a professional, DSLR mirrorless camera. Now, there are many reasons to it. We're not going there now, but we're talking about this camera. Okay, besides, since there is a neural engine, or the neural engine is Apple. Here in this case, neural processing unit, you have lots of other features available in this phone. Features they're going to keep adding more and more features to it. Here on the right side, you will say retouch filters. You will see a ton of retouch filters and color, effect filters. Go to town with it if that's what you want to do. But if you're a Puritan, I suggest you stay with the standard 12 megapixel camera without any filters added to it. Well, of course, you can make use of the bokeh or the defocusing effect, and you can definitely get great images. Now, there is something which I see a lot of brand communication talking about bringing the background closer. Technically speaking, that's a feature of any telephoto lens. It's an optical feature. It's physics. So if you go if you use a longer lens, you get a feeling that the background has come closer. Now, you're not bringing the background closer, it's basically you're compressing the perspective. Thereby, you get a feeling that the background has come closer. Now, that actually accentuates the look of a portrait in, generally in all conditions. Now, for example, you don't want the background to go blur if you're taking, a picture of you in front of Taj Mahal, right? In such scenario, don't go to portrait, shoot it in your high resolution photo mode and make good use of the entire resolution that the camera gives you. So phones are getting better and better day by day, edition by edition, and the creativity is only limited by your imagination. I wonder what the Oppo Reno 11 is going to look like. Let's wait and watch. I see you in another video. Bye for now.